It took only 4 minutes for Linfield to establish their superiority against the reigning champions. That was when William Murphy headed in their opener and set the scene for a convincing win at the Oval. And when goal-grabbing Glen Ferguson got their second after half an hour, Glentoran's chances of a comeback looked remote. They vanished altogether 3 minutes later as Ferguson gave Peter Thompson the chance to head in the third. But the best was still to come. Early in the second half came a quick free kick, an inch-perfect cross and a volley from Ferguson which had quality written all over it, a goal which would have graced any game in any league. That made it 4-0 to Linfield, and it really should have been 5, but Ferguson missed the easiest chance of the game with Linfield's by now traditional penalty miss, their 8th this season. McCann did get one back for Glentoran near the end, but there was little consolation as they suffered a second emphatic defeat by the Blues in recent weeks.
I suppose so.
Over 12,000 fans turned up to the traditional Boxing Day clash between Belfast's Big Two. And it was the Linfield supporters who were cheering first when Glen Ferguson was in hand to head in from close range after good work from Paul McAreevy. Glentoran almost replied immediately, but midfielder Darren Lockhart's shot was straight at Alan Manus. But it wasn't long before the league leaders were back on level terms. Gary Hamilton's initial effort struck the post, but the former Northern Ireland international made no mistake from the rebound. Glentoran were creating the better chances, and but for a brilliant goal line clearance from Pat McShane, Peter McCann would have made it 2-1. But after that shock, Linfield began to exert their authority on the game. First, Paul McAreevy hit this volley inches wide. Then the home side had a Peter Thompson goal disallowed, before substitute Thomas Stewart forced an excellent save from Elliot Morris in the Glentoran goal. But there was still time for a late scare when Michael Halliday burst through the Linfield defence, but his shot was well saved by Alan Manus to send both teams home with a point. Thomas Kane, BBC Newsline.
It's Cliftonville who stay top, 2 points clear of Linfield, who lost yesterday's Big Two clash 1-0 to Glentoran. Michael Halliday's second half winner leaves them 2 points behind Linfield and 4 behind Cliftonville. Adrian Logan reports.
Before yesterday's game, all the talk was of Glen Ferguson, just one goal off the magical total of 500. Yesterday was the day to cap a great season, but the headlines went to Michael Halliday instead. In the first few minutes, Ferguson had a chance, his free kick pushed away for a corner. 2 minutes later, Guy Hamilton's inviting cross just needed a touch from David Scullion. After that, Glentoran had several chances. Hamilton again involved. Kyle Neal missed a glorious chance in 20 minutes. He blazed wide after being set up by the busy Hamilton. Scoreless then at the break. It was much the same in the second. Hamilton again involved and Scullion oh so close. The Blues were riding their luck when Colin Nixon hit the woodwork from close range. A goal was on the way and the Glens Christmas cracker duly arrived on 66 minutes. Neal with the cross, Halliday's header and the Glens on their way to 3 precious points. After that, both sides had chances, but the Glens held on for a deserved 1-0 victory. Linfield denied the chance to go top by their fierce rivals. Christmas doesn't get much better if you're a Glentoran fan.
It was a very open.
Riot police were called to deal with crowd trouble at today's Irish League match between Glentoran and Linfield. Seats from the grandstand were ripped out and thrown onto the pitch. A firework was also thrown. The trouble started midway through the second half and resulted in the game being delayed by 7 minutes. Linfield then went on to win the match 3-0. Glen Ferguson put them ahead early on, then doubled the home side's lead on the stroke of half-time before Damien Curran made sure of all 3 points with this superb volley.